Hello Giants fans, welcome to Giants Baseball 101. I'm Gabe Vaughn, your host. First thing I want to mention before we get started, you're going to start seeing a lot of shorts at the top. And for those of you who are already consistent in watching these videos, I wouldn't worry that you're missing out on anything if you don't watch them all. The main purpose of these is to attract new viewers. So for those of you who have already subscribed, I wouldn't think you're missing out on anything. It's pretty much just a short restatement of some of the things I'm saying in the longer videos. Main purpose is to just get more viewers and subscribers because I think we can do better than last year if Giants fans really show interest in this. I really think we can do better than we did last year. And the Giants, we hope they can do better as a team as well. And that the season in general will just be a whole lot better. Giants beat the Dodgers today 12-1. That is just great to see them just blow out the Dodgers like that. It's only spring training and hopefully they can keep a thing like this up in the regular season. But honestly, that just is always thrilling when we can see that happen. Pitchers looked great today. Alex Wood pitched 5 scoreless innings, and that's saying a lot pitching against the Dodgers. I mean, that lineup is in it. It just seems like it always will be super hot. The Dodgers are not going away as playoff contenders anytime soon. I don't think any time in the foreseeable future are they going away as playoff contenders, or particularly as an offensive lineup with a ton of power sluggers. And so, see Alex Wood pitch 5 innings, 5 scoreless innings. I think the Dodgers really are the team that we would have wanted. They're the team I would have picked to see him do it against, and he's a pitcher who he's got to have a bounce back year. The Giants just put a lot of trust in him when they signed him to a 2-year, $25 million deal at the start of the 2022 season. That was because of the really good 2021 season he was coming off of. But so that's why they re-signed him that offseason. But in 2022, he just wasn't very effective. Now he might be a bounce back candidate. I definitely don't think he should be the pitcher the Giants seek to immediately rely on the most, and he's not likely to be. Logan Webb starting opening day. I think that he and Ross Stripling and Anthony DeSclafani will likely get the ball in the regular season before Alex Wood does. I mean, it's possible Wood will be the third starter. I just don't know whether he or DeSclafani will ultimately get the ball first. But Wood, all the same, it's just good to see Wood pitch well today. Hopefully he can be at least decent for the Giants in 2023 because starting pitching, it's just like everything else. It's got to be good. Sean Jelly relieved Wood and pitched 3 innings, gave up 1 run. Good outing for him as well. Then Camilo Doval pitched a scoreless 9th inning to close out the game. So it's good what we've seen from the Giants, all the Giants pitchers who pitched today, and really comes at the right time going against the Dodgers lineup. Lamont Wade Jr. had 3 hits, including a double for the Giants today. Thairo Estrada did exactly the same thing. Estrada, I've mentioned with him the extra base hits. It might be his thing. He had a double today. Just excellent what we're seeing from Estrada. I think he might be kind of an undervalued player who will be an impact performer for the Giants in 2023. In fact, if anyone on the Giants roster was undervalued, I'd probably make a guess that Thairo Estrada is the man. I think he's got future potential in his career that we might not exactly know about. We might not have known about up to this point. But I think doubles and triples are a bit more his thing maybe than home runs, maybe just a few more of them. That's probably the best way that Estrada can really contribute to the Giants. And considering the positions he plays, which, I mean, obviously he plays shortstop and I believe second base and third base he's capable of. I know at least second base he plays, but middle infield, to have those guys hot on offense is a really big plus for a team. So Estrada, I would say he's earned a starting role for the Giants if possible, and you can't have everybody start. I know, and probably the lineup should look pretty much the same from day to day unless there's a provably good reason why everybody needs to get consistent at bats, which that might be the case I just think when you really switch guys out in a lineup, there should be a good reason for doing that, and there could be all kinds of reasons, honestly. But in short, I think Thairo Estrada gets a starting role as long as one is available. And LaMonte Wade Jr., really encouraging what we saw from him today too, because he had a down year in 2022. Did have a streak where he showed a bunch of power, but just overall in 2022 his hitting wasn't good. And now in 2023, I mean, Brandon Belt, the first baseman last year, he wasn't terrible, he wasn't great, but I don't know that he was terrible, at least as far as normal players go, and LaMonte Wade Jr., he's going to be the Giants' primary first baseman this year. And if he can improve, if just anyone who can improve it's going to net the Giants a little bit more than they had last year. You just got to take it really individual player by individual player. And you could ask, which players in particular need to perform well if the Giants are to contend in 2023. And I've tried to answer that before, but I think that sometimes you can miss the fact that just anyone who can perform better in whatever role is going to help the Giants to whatever respective degree. And it may seem like we're not boiling it down enough to say anything they can get is good, but it's kind of true that anyone who can improve over last year, or any of the players that they were able to add who turn out to be real good, that's great for the Giants. It is largely true, honestly. Austin Wynns, he hit a home run that, might make the Giants feel a little bad about leaving him out in the catcher thing. You really can't carry 4 catchers on your team. That's just not a possibility. Somebody's got to be left out. Certainly it's not going to be Joey Bart or Blake Sabol. I'm pronouncing it Sabol now because Ben Kaspick does. That'd be a different discussion. Sorry about the mispronunciation of before. Joey Bart and Blake Sabol are both going to be on. But Roberto Perez, Austin Wynns, that's the main thing here. Wynns hit a home run, and Perez is the veteran. That's probably, I would say, the only tough decision. Could be neither of them. Could be, they say, 2 catchers, that's all. I think the decision is between Perez, Wynns, neither of them making the roster. There's no question about Joey Bart or Blake Sabol at this point. At least there certainly shouldn't be. Now, we're making a lot out of fairly small sample sizes. It does seem like when a guy's on a hot streak or has a real hot game, I always say something about it. Even, I think, spring training total, it is a small sample size. I just want to make sure that we're aware of that. And I know not all of you are going to be into analytics, but it's important to really be up to date and remember what the analysts say about small sample sizes. Usually that doesn't go over well in sabermetrics, and I've just heard it mentioned by analysts that broadcasters say meaningless things about players' last 10 or 20 plate appearances just so much in the game of baseball. You hear them make points about a player who was maybe, say, 6 for his last 15, and they make a big deal out of it when really there's some kind of random fluctuation. That's what the analysts say about it. I just think however much we agree with them, I just think we need to be aware of that. And just the fact, I think it is true that broadcasters can misrepresent what analytics are and what analysts are supposed to do. Probably some of that criticism is legit. Now, just as a side note, I want to say the analysts can misrepresent what broadcasters do as well. It's a little humorous, but I was reading an analytics book where I forget what they were talking about, but the author is basically giving an example of how a broadcaster will be watching a game and he's seeing a guy who's ready at the plate and he says something like, "Here's the pitch, it's coming," and he's ready, he knows it's coming, he's going to hit this ball hard. I mean, you read that, and for those of us who listen to or watch any real amount of baseball, I mean, come on, is that really what they say? No, it's just not. That's all fantasy. That broadcasters don't go around saying, while the pitcher's winding up, they don't say, "He's ready, he's gonna hit this ball hard." They just don't do that. So that's just kind of a funny side note there. But honestly, they can say some things about player statistics that may or may not be helpful. In spring training, these statistics are all we have to go upon. I mean, obviously you could look at guys' minor league records, but whether that tells you as much or more or less, that's up for the individual observer to decide for him or herself. I mean, these guys and what they're doing right now, it's going to have a significant impact on who makes the opening day roster and who doesn't. And sometimes I think that's just all very well. Like with Blake Sabol, you can't ignore what he's doing in spring training. I actually think the bigger question is when you see averages that are a bit down. Like Jock Peterson, I don't know his average right now, but I don't think, and if I'm wrong, I apologize, I just don't think Peterson's average is that high right now. And I'm not ready to speculate that means he's going to be a bad player in 2023. It would be devastating if it did mean that. I just don't know that it does mean that. So what we can make out of numbers, I mean, you can make something out of it, but you really can't make everything. And sometimes that's the only way to make your decision about guys who are supposed to kind of have equal potential. But it's just all that to say, there are tough decisions here for the Giants to make. I think that the guys who have been playing well, like Blake Sabol, Casey Schmidt, and Bryce Johnson, the Giants should not ignore those. I just think. And David VR, what I would really transfer from spring training statistics to last year's statistics for him. And I think he's already kind of proven his case that yes, he probably does belong on this team. In pitchers, I think it's even more difficult. I mean, they don't go out there every day. Like Kyle Harrison, it's clear he's not ready for the big leagues. I wouldn't be too discouraged, though, if you see, like Alex Wood's ERA, I don't know what it is, but if you see that it's not too good this spring training, I wouldn't be too discouraged by that as long as he's kind of shaping up and he feels good when he's throwing and all that. Same thing with Logan Webb's ERA. I'm not sure that it is that great. Ross Stripling, not sure that it is that great. Just don't make too much of that right now. It does take a while for a pitcher sometimes. If a bad outing's kind of the main thing he's had to kind of get everything back to normal again. So I think in that sense, we just bear with them. Well, I think that's all for today. Thank you for watching. This has been Giants Baseball 101. Please subscribe if you haven't. Also, please leave questions or comments. I love it when I get those and can answer some questions and kind of keep this discussion going. I'll see you next time on Giants Baseball 101.